All right, awesome. Where you at the moment? Are you in Dubai?
Yes, at the moment I am sitting in my apartment in Dubai. Yes.
What made you go all the way out there?
Well, it started with I had lived in Oslo for 8 years during my studies and working for a bit, and I just wanted a change. And
Mm.
then one of my teammates, Ine Anderson, she lived in Dubai. I'd also visited her once in Dubai, and a job opportunity came up through her, and then I just went for it. Basically, I've always wanted to try and live in a different country, just to explore a new culture, climate for that matter. The climate just felt better for my body and training. Yeah,
Would you
that's why.
would you go back to the cold?
Oh yeah, eventually that's the plan. Like COVID has kind of put things on hold a bit. I don't want to go back before. Or my boyfriend is from the UK, so before he has a permanent job to go to, we're not going to move anywhere. So
Mm.
we're staying here for now. We'll see how long it will be.
Mm.
But the plan was to stay for a year originally. Then it turned into 2 years, and COVID happened. And we'll see. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm on my third year now. Just entered my third year.
it's funny, right? Because I speak to a lot of immigrants, right? Obviously being over in New Zealand, and they say, "Oh yeah, I went for like a year just to see what it was like," and then that was like 3 years later, and they're still there.
Yeah,
Or they've gone somewhere else. Like I find like it took me like just over a year to like get my feet on the ground, kind of learn what's going on, blah blah blah. Like I find like
what made you move out to New Zealand then?
it's a good question. Like I had a like natural closing in one of the gyms I was working at. I had like a 2 year period because me and the brother were going to start a gym. Um, Obviously it didn't happen. If it would have happened, COVID would have fucked us. So it's kind of a good thing, that we pushed it back. So
Dodged
I
a
was like,
bullet.
yeah. I was like, well, I got 2 years. What do I do? Um, I'll probably never leave Manchester if I go back home. It's
Mm.
just kind of like the culture back there. So I was like, sack it. Threw my CV anywhere and everywhere, and then a place came back in Auckland. Was like, yeah, get on a flight and you've got a job. So I was on a plane 10 days later.
Yeah, nice. I had a bit more. I was like, I've been thinking about it like for a while, and it came the opportunity in like end of I guess 2018. But
Mm.
then I was like, they wanted me to come right away as fast as possible. I was like, well, I got Europeans in April. I'm not coming until after that. So if you want me, you have to wait until then. So then I managed to let them wait. So I came like 3 months. I had 3 months to get out here for. So
Nice, nice.
yeah.
How do you find like training in the heat?
Well, now during the summer, it's like outside, you don't really are outside. It's too hot. Like it's May has been like the end of May has been super hot. I'm like, how's the rest of the summer gonna be? It's been like 40 to between 40 to close to 50 degrees for like last week and a half, and it's quite humid. So like out, but the thing is like they know it's hot here, so the AC is also extremely good. So training inside is fine, but like outside you don't really go. Like you go to your car and it's boiling and it's awful. You get to your training, and so basically just the transport outside happens, and the rest is inside in the AC. So it's very very big difference in like temperature changes.
Mm,
So no wonder people get sick here.
mm.
It's like freezing inside, like if you go to a mall or anything, it's so cold, and then outside it's boiling. So the
Yeah,
winter is lovely though. That's like the perfect would be like the winter here, and then the Norwegian summer. That would be like the perfect scenario.
how hot does it get in Norway in summer?
On a good day, around up to 30, I would guess. That's
Jeez.
a good day. Very good day. 25 to 30.
Okay, yeah, like see like
Probably similar to England.
yeah, like 20 degrees is hot for me though. Like 20
Yeah.
degrees is I'm dying. I'm starting to die, you know what I mean? Um
No, I like the heat, so it's like I don't mind it, but it's like the Norwegian summer is just, that's perfect. And that's basically what it is here for like a couple of months during the winter, like December, January, those months are so nice. So yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I visited
15,
Dubai
30. Yeah.
for like 5 days, I want to say, like 2 years ago. And holy shit, like I landed at midnight, and as soon as I'd landed, that's the hottest I'd ever experienced in my life, and it was midnight.
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
this
What
is
time
not
of
all
the year
right.
were you here?
Ah, I want to say, like August, early August.
Yeah, August is like the worst month. So
Oh,
usually,
that would make sense.
yeah. So it's basically the same. It's usually the hottest month, like in at least back home as well, as long as the weather is good. But here it's just way too hot. Like it's not comfortable. It's not nice to be outside. So
Yeah, they have like fans outside, like ACing like the sidewalk, and you're just like, wait, what's going on?
they have like AC bus stops, like
Yeah,
so yeah.
it's
It's
it's not an environment that I would thrive in. I'm definitely built for the cold, you know.
no, during the winter, like the winter season is the best, and the summer is just, you just need to hold out, get over it, and then, but like it's still like my body's like, of course you get more stiff and everything if it's cold. Like you just feel the difference when it's hotter outside, and like the body doesn't get the same stiffness, same pains because you're cold, stuff like that. So of course you're still gonna get nibs and like injuries, small stuff everywhere anyway, but it's easier to just get ready for your workout basically.
100%. You don't have to like strip a layer off every round, you know what I mean? And then
Exactly.
by the time you finished your workout, you're warm enough to start. Like I don't miss those days, I'm not gonna lie.
No.
So
So
how's
is it
training going?
winter with you now? Training is going all right. And it's like volume strength cycle right now after Europeans. So focusing more on strength. Don't have that much weightlifting. I have like two and a half like full weightlifting sessions, and the rest is more strength focused right now. It seemed to be working. At least I'm going to do that for a few months. Towards the end of the summer, I'm going to get more weightlifting in to try and prep for the competition this fall. And yeah, I need to qualify for Worlds if I'm going to do that. So that I have to do towards the end of the summer. But yeah, training's going quite good, I would say.
What
It's a bit
what
now
weight
than
category?
normal. I compete in, or big international competitions, I compete in 64. So when I'm cutting, like on a normal basis, I would be like in the middle of the 71 probably. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of like national level weightlifters at the gym that I train at the moment, and one of them I think is, I don't know, 64, maybe less. I'm not sure. Like you walk in, you're like, oh yeah, you look strong, and then they start lifting the weights. You're like, oh fuck, okay, yeah, you're rather strong. It's really impressive. Like I think the smaller the lifter, whether it's male or female, it doesn't matter. The smaller lifter, the more impressive it is.
Yeah, you just don't expect it. That's the thing. Like when you see a tiny person and then they go and lift freaking big weights, it's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah, I went to like national powerlifting just as a spectator, and this 49 kilo lady came in and opened with like a 160, 180 kilo back squat. I was like, you weigh like 49 kilos. It's like, this shouldn't be possible.
How's that not crashing here?
Yeah, like
Exactly.
you try and get your head around it. And it's really
It's
impressive
pretty
though.
insane. Some like, yeah, like when you see the best in the world, it's insane what they can lift. Like,
There's a reason why they're best in the world, right?
level. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How long have you been weightlifting?
Ooh, I'm in my 12th year. Time flies. And I actually was thinking about it before I came on to talk with you. It was like, yeah, I started December 2009. So I guess it's like 11 and a half years now. So since I started just being introduced to weightlifting. So I guess I've only done, like I did it next to track and field for like 5 years. My first 5 years, I was like just doing as basically my strength training for track and field. And then I just did a few competitions on the side. The female, there wasn't a lot of female lifters at that time. So basically you could get medals at nationals and junior nationals and Nordics at that time by not necessarily being very good. It was just, so it was easy to like get into it and kind of get interested because you felt good by not necessarily lifting that heavy because you got medals. So, but yeah, I did it for 5 years, both of them. And then basically my track and field coach said I was better in weightlifting. So he told me to change. So I did only weightlifting from I was 23, I think. Yeah. So I used to do discus throw. So it kind of matched. You could like do both. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of explosive, a lot of explosive power.
Yeah, you need a lot of explosive training. Yeah.
Transfers over perfectly. How did you? What was the reason why you got into weightlifting?
Well, it kind of started with just strength training and base, like building the base for my throwing and my strength and explosiveness in that. So it just started with doing it for track and field. And then there was a club, the closest like club or the only club in the area wanted us to join a competition because they didn't have enough girls for their team. So we were like 3 or 4 track and field like throwers who joined that. And we qualified for nationals in our first competition and basically just, okay, let's just do nationals then. And we went from there, just continued training strength. Then it gradually got more and more focusing on lifting compared to necessarily throwing. And then, yeah, that's how it started.
Is it big in Norway, like in academy level and school and for supplementary for sports?
It's growing for sure. Still, I wouldn't call it big. There's still plenty of places where they don't have weightlifting clubs and stuff like that. It's of course with CrossFit coming in, it's grown a lot as well. Like my first year in nationals, it was the first year ever there was 15 girls at a nationals. Wow. And that was like the limit for them to hand out so-called king trophy. It's like the best female lifter gets like, and male lifter. And you needed to be 15 girls for them to actually give it out. So it's only been growing. Like the last few years, it's like basically 50-50 girls and boys at nationals. So on the girls' side, and the level on the girls' side has boomed very, very much since I started. But right now, the level in Norway on the girls are a lot higher than the boys. The boys they're hanging a bit back right now, which is sad. But
oh really? Why'd you think that is?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Like it's just haven't been like that many good boys coming up, and I guess maybe then other boys don't necessarily get motivated to start, or I'm not sure, or continue. But just haven't been any of those big talents the last few years. But of course, since we are more and more girls also kind of fighting for the spots, also the level is going to gradually get higher and higher because we kind of have to push each other, which also helps, of course, to get better.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like as we know, weightlifting is such a good supplementary sport just for the traditional sports, never mind as like a solidarity on its own. And then you look across like a lot of, I'd say like Western European countries, and none of them really do it. It's kind of this like back alley sport that kind of supplements some things, and you might get some like freak athletes coming through and stepping on the stage, and that's kind of it. They've got like one person that you know. Like I know, for example, back home, like
It's usually people.
so go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like I know back home, like people don't know what it is. You know, I say, oh, it's weightlifting. They're
No.
like, oh yeah, like bicep curls. I was like, no, that's resistance training. That's picking the weight up.
It's
You know.
always, oh, I do weightlifting. Oh, what do you bench?
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
one. Yeah. No, like, oh, okay.
Ugh.
Like Olympic. They're like, oh, Olympic. What's that? Like,
Yeah, they don't know it like at all. So it's not that known. It's starting to get more and more known, I guess. But of course, I would say most or of the lifters back home, or like they come from different sports. Either they've been introduced to weightlifting through CrossFit, through track and field, where they trained it like as a base kind of, and then they figure out, oh, okay, I'm kind of good in this, and then they move into, oh, there's clubs for this, you can compete in this, okay, let's try. And then kind of go that way. It's not a lot, maybe in like the community where they have like weightlifting, like there are a few like my club back home, it's not exactly where I grew up, it's actually like an hour and 10 minutes from where I grew up, but it was like the only club when I grew up, so that was like who we started competing for. And they have like a quite big known community for weightlifting, so in that place people might actually like start with weightlifting because they want to start with weightlifting, but like other places in the country it's not, or it's not that big communities in it, so they usually come from other sports, and they get, or it's like someone catches them and like, oh, you should come to the club, like you're strong, try out weightlifting, kind of that vibe. So it's like, it's not really, people don't know about it, you don't see it in schools. And but of course the federation is trying its best to like get out there and get more like focus on it for like kids and youths, like getting more and more acceptable, I guess, for kids also to do strength training. So it's a bit, still a few that's like stuck in the old school, like, oh, kids shouldn't do strength or shouldn't lift the weight, but it's getting better and better.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like we frown upon kids lifting weights, but then we allow them to run into each other and headbutt each other, and we call it rugby. You know,
Exactly.
it's a bit backward
And
the
it's
way of
just
thinking.
research showing,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's so much more injuries in team sports and all of that. It's like one of the least injured sports is like lifting weights. So
yeah, I think
crazy.
the likes of weightlifting and powerlifting have got like a big responsibility of breaking that social stigma of, you know, stunting growth, blah blah blah. It's bad for joints or all that type of bullshit like you hear going around. I think it's really important to end up breaking the mold that way, and then also showing that, like, take for the States for example, like all the way through their academy, they one, lift weights, and two, do some sort of weightlifting. Usually they're just the power movements, granted, but like it's weightlifting, right? And then you look at their like academy level when they get older, like they've produced like some freak athletes. And you're like, oh, well, why has this been? I was like, well, they've been coached how to lift correctly and then been taken through a structured S&C program since they were like yay tall. And then when they get to 16, 17, 18, maybe 22, all the way up to those ages, like they're just unstoppable.
That's true. Yeah, it's crazy that it's not like that for more, like, or get more implemented into school systems and stuff like that.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to do that.
No.
Especially when you've got
Me neither.
like,
And it's also,
after you,
I think the Western world, like Europe and it's more like everyone's supposed to do everything. It's not like you shouldn't specialize and you shouldn't like it's all about playing games and don't be too serious and everything. It's like, you see, of course, the different other places in the world where they do it like that, they're also creating basically like for weightlifting. You see China wins and everything, and they have a completely different system, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily a fan of that system, but also not necessarily good that you can't be more like choose what you want to do early if you want to. Like it's up to I would say it's up to the kids or like what they want to do. If they like it, then why not?
For sure. And there's definitely some positives of doing more than one thing, because you develop so many different skills that can
Oh yeah,
transfer over to many different ones. Like you, for example, growing up, like the kids that played multiple different sports were always the best at said sport, apart from like the specialization of
yeah,
maybe, I don't know, like field hockey or water polo or some shit. Like it's a little bit more specialized. Like, you know, granted, you're probably not gonna be able to get in a pool and dominate at water polo if you can't swim. Um, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, if you only just do a little bit of all these different things, are you ever really going to get to any level? Probably not. But that's where you pose the argument of like, what's going to help them better at life? Is it going to be being
yeah,
really good at one specific thing, or is it going to be like being average or better than average at multiple different things? And to be honest, I would argue the latter one, just being like, allow kids to develop many different skills, and then like you said, hey, hey little Jimmy, like what do you like doing? I like doing gymnastics. Okay, cool, let's go do some gymnastics. You know, we're going to spend a little bit
yeah,
more time
exactly.
on that than other things. But then it comes down
Yeah,
to
I would say it's good to like not, you shouldn't specialize early.
hmm,
Like, and teenagers, end of teenagers, like whenever they figure out what they actually prefer and like, then maybe like, because that's usually the time when you lose them. Like they
hmm,
disappear because they're like, they stop the progress or they don't see any like, they don't see where it goes. And like I've done so many sports or basically every sport that there was. I came from a very small place, so they didn't have all the sports, but I played football for 12 years. I did track and field until I was 23. But I was like, when I was a kid, I was never necessarily the one who won. I was not the one who lost either. I was like kind of in the middle. But I guess I just found it still fun, and I kept going because I thought it was fun to do it. So
hmm.
I did play volleyball for a few years, and like the last thing I started with was weightlifting, which is what I stuck with in the end. So it's like, yeah, I really think kids should try a lot of things to figure out, okay, what do I like? What do I want to do? You need to kind of have an interest, and especially in those countries, like you don't have that external like reason to do it, like to save your family or like for income and whatever. Like you need to actually enjoy what you're doing. If not, you won't be continuing, you won't reach far at all, even though not necessarily, still I haven't reached far, even though I'm not winning Europeans or worlds, but I still think it's fun to do it and travel and experience that. Even though I don't earn anything on it, it's still just because I like doing it. So
It's also opened up so many different doors, right? Like how many amazing people have you met within a gym environment? Like it's
yeah, definitely.
it's
It's like
practically
made
everyone
up
I hang around
my,
with.
yeah, it's my entire environment. Like almost all my friends, except for the ones I know from my childhood, maybe it's like
Hmm.
from the gym, or it's like my social life at the same time as what I like to do. So it's usually the ones you have the same interest with. So
Yeah, and without it, you probably wouldn't be in Dubai.
no, definitely not. Wouldn't be in Dubai if it wasn't for Ina, and I met Ina through weightlifting. So
Yeah, it's crazy the benefits you get just socially out of an environment like a gym, you know, or any sort of sports team. And just learning that social interaction too, which is really important for like youth development, as we all know, because no one
yeah,
likes a
definitely.
loner that can't talk
Really
to anyone.
missing that team spirit.
Yeah,
Like someone right now, after Ina left Dubai, I'm basically alone as a weightlifter here. So I'm missing to have someone to train with. That's like the biggest thing that I'm like missing right now for my like everyday life, is just having a training partner that do the same as me. But apart from that, it's pretty good. Like you can, I think this is one of the few countries, or at least compared to back home, like you can earn good money in the fitness industry and not killing yourself doing it, basically, not working too much. And you're able to train and do what you want to on the side. So it's like one of the big benefits here. Like it would be hard back home.
Yeah, that's the same back in the UK. Like if you wanna do well, you've either got to sell a few people out or you've got to absolutely break yourself. And neither one sound very appealing, you know. And
Definitely
they wonder
not,
why
not
the
when you
fitness industry is dying.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy.
Yeah, they came up with
At
this.
least like the when the oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say they came up with a statistic within the UK where it was something like 99%, 98% of newly qualified personal trainers quit the industry within the first year.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's I'm not really it's tough, I guess, to be new as well. And you don't have any contacts and like start fresh. It's like you need to work so much, you need to hustle and to be able to build yourself up at all. So I back home, like I combined since I'm a physio as my education as a physio. So I worked as a physio and then had some PTs and coaching on the side. I have a few weightlifting classes and stuff. So it was more like a combination of those two, which to me is like the perfect thing for me to do. I haven't done I need to do like an exam here to work as a physio. So, but I do take in like some rehab clients and stuff like that. So I get like to at least work with some similar type of clients. So, but it's like, it's just so much, you get a lot, especially like after COVID, like here in Dubai at least, we haven't had that second lockdown. So we've been lucky there. The gyms have stayed open, so I've been able to like work since we reopened in last summer in July. So like the money's been like at least coming steadily in since then, which has been good. There was a few tough months, of course, but we didn't like, I know back in Oslo where I used to live, like it's been closed down since October until the gyms recently opened, I think last week. So that's a very long period. Like if you're a coach, what are you gonna do? It's like you lose your entire freaking life income and life. Like I have no idea if I was there, I don't know, like working like I do now, I wouldn't survive there.
Do they have any subsidy for coaches and people within the fitness industry, or is it like you don't make any money at all?
Oh, can you repeat that?
Does the government hand out any subsidy? As in, do they?
Oh yeah, Norway. Yes.
Yeah.
They do. I'm not sure. I've heard that it's a bit tricky, like because PTs are usually maybe on their own company, like they work for themselves. So I've heard it's a bit like tricky to get the money through that when you have that kind of, because it's not like a shareholder company, it's just like a one-man company kind of thing. So I've heard it's a bit tricky, but they're supposed to like give out like a percentage of what you've earned and stuff like that. But you need to like prove that some way. It's not like it goes through a company and all that. But yeah, they are supposed to substitute. I'm not sure how it's been going with.
It seems very similar back home. Like my brother's in the same industry and he, does the same shit, but just back home. And obviously I'm over here, and we'd compare like how kind of governments kind of, treats you and how things are going. And it's very similar back home. It's very hard to get any subsidy and any help through what's going on, which is tough to hear, especially when there's so many struggling self-employed PTs, like you said, within the first year, and you just got to hustle your way through. And then if you're slapped with this COVID thing, like, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's tough. So I'm just happy that we've been able to work for this much the last year. Here, it's helped a lot.
What made you get into physio?
Like I've always, of course, been interested in like the body and like fitness, and it was like the closest, I guess. I wanted like a good education. And also like to use physios when you're an athlete, see what they do, and kind of you see that they can help improve what you do. So it probably was just my experience through being an athlete and just, of course, being interested in the body and health that got me to start with that. So yeah, it's a bachelor, 3 years, and then it's 1 year just basically working as a physio, as a practitioner, kind of that you have to do to get your degree. So yeah, that was fun. It was it's not an education that's like very optimal to do next to training and being an athlete, because it's a lot of like mandatory classes, and of course it's a practical skill, so you need to be there to learn it. It's not like when you go to university you can just go when you want to, and it doesn't matter. So but it was something that I really enjoyed. And like, as I said, like I was probably the last one who came into the study, like grade wise. I came in like 4 days before school started, like first year. So I was like, I probably won't come in because the grades are, or the, I don't know what you call it, to get in, it's quite
Boundaries.
high. Yeah, so you have to have quite good grades. And but at the same time, like after the anatomy exam, which was like in the end of the first year, it was like almost 50% didn't come through that, because it was like it's a tough exam. So if you're not like really interested and like want to do it, like you're not gonna get through the study. Like, so I still came through it, and I had probably better grades from that than I had from normal school. So because I'm actually interested in it. So yeah.
That's the key, right? Doing something that you actually are passionate or interested in, and that ends up making the long days and the sleepless nights all worth it, because you actually do care about what you're doing. Like I love the whole rehab scene and the multiple different avenues of prehabilitation, rehabilitation, whatever, like osteopathy, chiropractic, physio, cupping, like all these different techniques. I find it fascinating and learning about them all.
So what's your education?
Sorry?
Do you have any specific education?
Yeah, I got a diploma in sports therapy,
Okay.
which I got how many years ago? What are we, 21, maybe 5 years ago? And kind of on and off. I'm going to be starting again in the next couple months, which is really exciting. Like I've not really used it in like a year and a half. And I like fixing people up, as I'm sure you can relate. It's quite rewarding.
Satisfying.
Yeah, it's definitely satisfying,
Rewarding.
like I've got a couple of like long time PTs, and I remember when I saw them for the first time, like they came in, they were absolutely fucked, like couldn't move, couldn't do this, blah blah blah, and now they're overhead squatting, deadlifting, back squatting, PRing, stronger than they've ever been.
Exactly. That's why, like, I've actually never physically taken a PT course or degree. At the same time, I'm like, if someone thinks I'm not qualified, then I don't want to work for you, because I probably know more than most. Like, I have a degree in physio, and I've been training strength for 12 years. And yeah, 3-month course will really give me a lot. So
I 110% agree, and I'm really trying to not go off on an absolute rant about how they coach level 3 PTs and level 1 coaches and all that type of shit. I'm like, hey, you want to get good, like completely immerse yourself within this industry and then come back to me in 10 years.
exactly.
It's like, what do you mean? It's like, nah, just live, breathe, and shit this industry in every avenue you can, and go talk to people a lot more knowledgeable than me, and you'll learn a thing or two.
Yeah, and no wonder people get like lost. It's a lot of difference in the industry, like both as coaches or coaches out there. And it's like when people come like to the gym, because I guess the gym I work at, that PT prices is quite high. You'd find a lot cheaper in other gyms, like more commercial gyms. but it's like, and they asked, oh, can I get a discount? Or I found a different place you can get 20 PTs for like 1,000 less than I get 10 with you. And I was like, okay, if you want to go there, go, have fun. And I'm not going to say anything more. Like, I'm not interested in, like, if you don't want to pay for the quality you're going to get, then nah. Like, it's you're not going to get the same quality at the gym where people charge almost nothing for 20 PTs.
Yeah.
So
Completely. Have you ever worked in a commercial gym?
I haven't, no.
Oh, you're lucky.
I'm glad I haven't. No, I'm worked as like a coach or a physio at just a clinic with a gym, and then a CrossFit gym or functional fitness gym, basically.
Yeah.
So everything, yeah.
I said I'd never work in a commercial gym, and then obviously I went back on that. Like, times got rough, COVID happened, and the only place that would take me on was a commercial gym. I was like, okay,
Really?
fuck. I need to earn some pennies. Okay, whatever. I go in there. Yeah, that didn't end up very well, as it
No. How
as it
long did
never
you stay
does.
for?
Hey?
Exactly. How long did you stay for?
Oh, good question. Like June, July to like November time.
Okay. Just to get
So
you through those worst months.
yeah, just push through, blah blah blah. But it's crazy some of the stuff you see that people are paying for. Like, I'm never gonna throw anyone under the bus and call people out, but at the same time, I'm like, they're paying you how much an hour for that shit?
Yeah.
I was like, no
So
way.
they
Like,
don't get anything. Like, they're gonna get zero progress whatsoever. So, and they're hopefully gonna see that and stop paying that person and go to someone who's actually gonna help you.
but hey, all you need is like a kettlebell certificate, and then you're sorted.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, jeez. But
Yeah.
it's a weird one. Like, the fitness industry is like split. You go down the commercial route, and it's the whole body pump, kettlebell stuff, blah blah blah, which is amazing. Okay, it works. Some people like it. I'm not shitting on it. Whatever. But it's split down the middle, and the other side is like, strength and conditioning, sport, rehabilitation, actual coaching, and coaching's a rough one because you can't really standardize it because it's so different. You're dealing with so many different people.
That's very true.
And it's
But it's also
when
very
go on.
interesting to see, like, just people how coaching group classes. Like, some are like really not coaching. Like, they tell you what to do and then just walk around, do nothing. It's like, I'm coaching. You told them what to do. Okay, well done. What do you do next? It's like crazy. Sounds like, and there's like on big gyms and base. Unfortunately, I see this a lot with like people or CrossFitters or in CrossFit gyms, which is what I've seen. Like, which is good CrossFitters who are basically there because they want to train and they just do a few classes. So they tell them what to do and then just walk around, get paid for it, and then they train themselves. They're not interested in coaching. They're not interested in helping people. So it's like, it's sad.
I couldn't agree more. And I've actually worked in a CrossFit gym. Again, no names. But I've worked in a CrossFit gym where I did my very fucking best to coach people, and I got pulled aside by the owner several times. Was like, no, 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 Alex, like, I just want you to read from the board. I was like, what do you
Really?
mean? What do you mean, man? It was like, the words on the monitor. I was like, yeah, yeah. It was like, just read it word for word. I was like, but then I'm just instructing. Like, I'm just
So
an
they didn't want
instructor.
you to actually help them. That's
Nah.
insane.
And same dude. I came in one time. I was like, "Hi mate, like, blah blah blah. I've read this for the upcoming week, like some total bar, something like that, some progression." And I was like, "Hey, I've got this really elaborate, really dumbed down few step total bar progression that I'd like to try with the morning class. Is this okay?" Yep, everything's fine. Okay, wicked. I'll let you know how it goes. Go into the morning class. Hey team, like, obviously I've had you for 3 weeks now. I've seen some of the total bar progressions and it's come up with the same one. It's not really been working, so we're going to try something else. Is that okay? Yeah, everyone's all good with it. Wicked, let's go for it. Go through it within like I'd say like 7 minutes tops. All 8 people in the class end up getting toes to bar perfectly. And I'm like, all right, well, I won't say perfectly, but I was like, okay, this kind of works. So I go back to the owner. I was like, hey, mate, like these progressions really worked for this class. But he was like, okay, I don't want you to do that anymore. I want you to follow the board.
What? But like, I don't get like what, as an owner, that he like, did he coach himself, or it's like, you want your members to have progress, if not, they're not going to come back.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Safe to
It's
say
amazing
I
how,
didn't last very long at that gym either.
no, then I wouldn't want to be there if you can't actually coach. You're not allowed to physically coach.
No, it's strange, right? A lot of places within the fitness industry are so content of just like cruising, of just doing all right. They're just doing okay. We're just going to stay here. Don't change, blah, blah, blah. But like a gym is a business. And if a business isn't growing, it's dying. So you should treat the gym the same, right? And it's like, no, everything's going to stay the same. And it's like, well, the members will leave.
True. Very true.
It's
Again, I'm not a person who wants to necessarily like do 10-hour days and whatever. Like to me, it's like if I have 6 coaching hours, that's my like limit, because it's freaking tiring to do 6. Actually, when you're coaching, it's tiring.
yeah.
So like more than that, because also of course the programming and everything, like it takes time, and like I need time for my own training. Yeah, like, but at the same time, like I don't want to like do, which a lot of people do, like they're hired, they do 2 classes a day, and then the rest of the time they used to train themselves, and they don't even necessarily coach well. So of course that's not going to help the business anything. So
Yeah, you got to
like,
realize what
like that
whilst you're
limit and like balance, like balance on like where you need to like prioritize yourself, but of course also, but it kind of, when you prioritize, because with PT you get commissions, you're going to get more money if you do PT. So if you don't want to, like, you're happy with what you're getting, it's like, so I would say like you need to figure out that balance for yourself.
Yeah, that's totally right. Like I think like when you come up through the industry, you're kind of the only thing your mentors in quotation marks tell you is like, oh, you've just got to like work harder than everyone else. So my very blonde small brain thinks, oh, okay, motherfucker, I'll work 24 hours. No one else can work more than that. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you can only do that for a very short period of time. And then you start breaking down. And then when,
Exactly. You take
played
care of
sport.
yourself as well, not only try to hustle.
That's it. And then it starts to piss you off, right? Because most people that get into the industry have played some sort of sport, like ourselves. Like I played sport all the way growing up, multiple different ones, blah blah blah, and then trying to train, not just work out. And it's like, well, why is my training going shit? Oh, that's why. Like I'm coaching 7 classes in a row. It's like no wonder. It's yeah, it's
That's gonna
crazy.
really rough. It's so tired. Like after, if you have a rant of like 4 or 5 classes or more in a row, it's like you're so tired after that. I'm like, I just need to go home and crash. Basically, I can't do anything after that.
Yeah,
But
after
luckily, I usually train during the day, so definitely dead after my classes.
yeah, after a full day's coaching, I'm way more tired than after like a double day worth of training.
Oh yeah,
Like way
definitely.
more tired.
It's mentally draining as well.
Yeah.
Like you need to be really like sharp all the time and like pay attention. So you just get super drained.
Yeah, something I found that can work, like if you genuinely are working all evening as in coaching, is as in like maybe I'd say 3 onwards. Once you start getting into the 3rd hour of like super high concentration and you start getting this like blurry eyes, is like having 2 coaches on with 1 leads and 1 supports, and then you switch every hour. So you kind of have that like half switch off, but you're still there. You're like more of a talkative coach. You can give a little bit more feedback while the other one's running the show. I found that works really well.
That's true. Yeah, if it's a big class, then definitely. Like it depends on how many is in the class, I guess, if they actually can put 2 coaches on for like just economics as well. Yeah.
What's the biggest class you guys take?
Well, actually, my gym is the classes is quite small. Before COVID, it was 12. Now, because of space, we have 8 max. So it's basically a perfect number for one coach, in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't want to have like 12. To me, is a bit much to be able to like pay attention to everyone. And of course, you're going to be able to go around, but you're not going to be able to see everything. I can say that. So 8 is the maximum number right now. Our space is not that big either, so yeah, that's why we physically can't fit in more. So
Eight's lovely. Eight's really nice to coach as an individual. It's just enough people to make it feel like it's not just you with like a couple people, and then it's not too many where you're a little bit overwhelmed and you feel like you need to like have 4 shots of coffee to get round everyone. When you start
at the same time, I actually find it more draining to do classes where there's one person than a full class.
Oh yeah.
Like just when it's a group class and it's one person showing up, that's what I hate the most. I get so tired because I'm like bored.
But that's because you've got small talk.
Yeah, but it depends on the client, for sure, if you actually are able to like talk to them or not. But
yeah,
if you have a PT, it's different. It's just then you have a specific program and something in mind for that person. But this is like a class program, so it's like everyone's doing the same no matter. So it's like, yeah, let's do it. But it's like it's just more fun with the bigger class.
Yeah, you get a little bit more banter, right? Like people bounce off each other rather than like, all right, I've got 12 people in mind that's going to come in today, and I've mentally rehearsed for it, and then young Bob walks in, and that's it, and you're like, oh, okay,
exactly.
This is going to be really great.
You're not necessarily there to talk either. You're there to like look and tell them what to do and like give them feedback. It's not like when there's one person, you kind of have to do that small talking as well.
And like, they always think they can slack off because no one else has turned up.
Oh yeah.
It's like, no,
but at the same time, my girls hate when they're alone because I only look at them. Like, they're like, that means I have to do everything and I can't like cheat or anything. I'm like, no, you can't. I'm gonna see what you're doing. I'm gonna count your reps.
Yeah. Yeah, out loud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you to add weight all the time.
Yeah, you can't hide at the back of the class no more.
No, exactly.
Have you ever done it where you've walked around the back of the room and you've coached the class from behind?
I do like walk around, but I probably haven't coached. Like they probably would turn to me, so that would be in front again, kind of.
Well, not like the whole class, but I've done it where you basically, obviously, you're running through the barbell or whatever you're doing. Usually the barbell because everyone's in lines, right? And you're breaking things down, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like focused on you and they're kind of like watching what you're doing as you're like pacing up and down, trying to get better angles to see everyone. And it's like, it can be quite distracting. So you're like, all right, I want you to pick a thing on the wall. And you basically bugger off around the back of them and you give some cues. And they think you've just like walked out of the room. It's quite comical, but it's a good view to be able to see whether people are in positions.
Oh yeah, I always stand on like the side or like that's like my favorite position, especially if it's bar workouts. You need to be or weightlifting. I'm never in front, always on like the side, back. Like don't see anything from the front really. You need to be on the side. So
well,
give them feedback.
Being in the front of someone when they weightlift is like cursing them out. It's like the devil reincarnated. You can't do that. That's against the law.
Exactly. It's like I know I don't want people to be in front of me, so of course I'm not going to be in front of them.
Yeah.
I know that they don't necessarily know those rules, but I do, so I won't do it.
Don't touch the music while someone's lifting. Don't walk in front of them, and definitely don't stand in front of them. My God.
That's why I like training weightlifting at a commercial gym is impossible. Like you get so freaking frustrated. It's like, or like a commercial gym or where a lot of people is and like walk around or get their stuff in front of you and stuff. And it's like, oh, come on, can't you see that I'm lifting here?
Yeah.
About to lift.
Oh, there's mirrors everywhere.
Even surprised me in like CrossFit gyms. I would have thought that they learn it there, like, but clearly not.
I've had it. One of my good mates. Someone walks practically straight in front of him as he was going for a snatch. Inevitably loses the bar, drops it, and it smashes a chalk bucket and just sprays this person full of chalk. And he literally just stands there and was like, "Well, that was fucking karma. Don't walk in front
that
of me."
was good. You
That's
deserve
amazing.
that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I saw it happen. I was like, "Oh God, like we're gonna have some sort of case here. He's gonna throw the bar, or it's gonna miss, and it's gonna hit him, and they're gonna get hurt. Something's gonna be a problem." And yeah, it just smashes this chalk bucket and absolutely sprays him like a load of snow. I was like, "This is fantastic."
Probably learned from that, or I should have.
If you didn't, there's few marbles left of a full set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you very much. What's on the cards for the rest of the day? Are you still training, or is this a rest day?
My rest day today. That's why I said I had time to talk to you.
Oh, that was
I'm starting
it. Yeah.
work in 2 hours. Yeah, so I start work in 2 hours, and I had a couple of PTs in the morning. So just gonna eat and I did some programming before I started talking to you, a bit more of that, and then work time.
Perfect. Sounds like a fantastic day. If any of you guys are ever down this way, let us know. And we'll all end up slanging banging a barbell.
We'll do. I would love to visit a new city.
Yeah,
Haven't been in either new.
it's definitely a beautiful country, and it's definitely somewhere I'd say everyone needs to visit at least one time.
Yeah, I've heard it's like similar, like nature-wise. So some like mountains and stuff as Norway, some parts of it.
Yeah, for sure. Like the South Island is very like alpiney. It's a little bit colder. North Island, you do get some incredible mountains too, but it's a bit more Pacific Islandy. And the beaches in the North Island are something out of this world.
Sounds like you have basically everything you want.
Pretty much, yeah.
Place.
And that's why I'm not going
Beach
home.
And mountain. Oh, that's good.
All right, spot on. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.